menstruation, sex, pleasure, infidelity, teenage sex, teenage pregnancy. It should be spoken, to be honest with you.
Now we've had movies like The Padman, we've had movies like Mrs. Women are made to feel disgusted about it.
It's more about the Indian society. I think South India, they celebrate periods. Having periods means a woman is healthy. You'll be surprised that now, out of 100 menstruators, 40% are using period care products. The rest 60%, what are they using? They're using ashes, sawdust, banana leaves, rags, newspapers, because they can't afford a sanitary napkin.
Oh my God. So when it comes to the pleasure, what is the taboo around it?
People indulge in sex to experience rather than to enjoy that intimate moment. A lot of people think it's pornography, which is not. I think the taboo is all created in the mindset.
Do you think the consumption of condoms has gone up?
It's not gone up as it should be.
What has been your biggest life lesson so far?
People value immediate success. Many a times people do ask me why you as a man wanted to go into a feminine hygiene product. So we started with toilet seat sanitizer.
Correct.
I always had a purpose to have a world free of UTI. So kaise karna, I don't know, but we have to do it together.
Some people build companies and some people build conversations, but very few people build a revolution. And that is what Vikas Bagaria has created with the company PeeSafe. A man who started to understand the struggles that a woman goes through the entire phase of menstruation has truly created a revolution around the women hygiene. And the kind of questions we asked him and the kind of insights that he gave throughout the podcast makes us understand that he's a true visionary who understands women health on a much deeper level. If you're a woman, I definitely think this is going to help you understand more about yourself. And if you're a man, I highly recommend you watch this entire podcast either with your mother, sister, wife, daughter, to understand what they go through and to understand what your role is in their entire journey. We thoroughly enjoyed having this conversation, and I'm very sure this is going to empower a lot of us when it comes to understanding women hygiene. I've seen so many of your interviews where you said the idea of starting a company like this started on a road trip because your wife fell sick. Talk to us a little bit about that, because I have so many questions along with that.
So I think I won't ever get bored of repeating
Speaking
this
about that,
stuff. But yes, it was 2013 March. Srina and I was on a road trip, and we were from Gurgaon. We were going to Dwarkadish in Gujarat for a pilgrimage, and in Ahmedabad she falls sick, where it was so bad that we have to leave the car there and we had to fly back. And she was diagnosed with urinary tract infection, UTI, and it was so severe that she was hospitalized. While she was recovering it, I was just because Safety Card just started my e-commerce venture. I think after a lot of struggle, I was easy in my journey of entrepreneurship. So I wanted to see what can be done towards women health, towards how I can help reduce the risk of UTI.
Okay, what is UTI?
UTI is a urinary tract infection, which is actually on the bladder. The E. coli bacteria on the urinary tract, when they attack, it's become difficult for you to pee, as well as it's very, very painful.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what causes UTI majorly?
Many reasons for that. A couple of reasons are you drink less of water because you don't want to go and pee.
Correct.
You sit on unsanitized toilet seat, which can lead to washroom-borne infections, which can be a lot of infections.
Okay.
So holding on the pee, not drinking enough water, or getting some kind of bacterial infection by touching, various stuff in washroom. I think these are the couple of reasons.
So now, what is the difference between a clean toilet and a sanitized toilet?
So we always say that clean is not equal to sanitized.
Okay.
Right. Tell me, like, if we have to wash our hands, we can wash our hand with water, why we need soap for that,
Mm.
right? So we clean our hands with soap, which actually helps us remove bacteria, dirt, or something like that. We can even wash with water. The same thing happens on the toilet seat as well. When you clean with water, the E. coli bacteria, it thrives in water, so they will still remain there. They won't die,
Okay.
right? So that's why when you sanitize it, it restrict their growth, right?
Okay.
So that's why we sanitize our hands. We can wash our hands, but we sanitize our hands with alcohol, right? So that there is an instant you can take care of your whatever infection you may carry. So I think so clean is not equal to sanitize. It may look clean.
Mhm.
So say for example, if you are living in a co-living, or if you're living in a joint family home, and you have a couple of toilets between say 4 or 5 people, so those toilets are public toilets
Mm.
because being used by more than a couple, right? So it's a public toilet. It may look clean there, but there are droplets of urine on the seats which has dried up. But it has E. coli bacteria, right? So unless and until you sanitize it, you will never know that where you got this infection from.
Okay. Okay. So it can even be our own house where the same toilet is shared by 3, 4 people. There is a possibility of us getting UTI if it is not sanitized well.
Absolutely. So I'll say it's possibility.
It's possible.
It's
Okay.
a possibility. UTI alone cannot happen from a toilet seat,
Okay.
right?
Got it.
There's a lot of reasons for that.
Okay.
It's one of those reasons are toilet seat as well. But yes, any toilets which is being used by a couple, by a couple, third person, even your children or your brother, other than your spouse, I think that washroom, that toilet should be termed as a public toilet.
Okay. So now I've always wanted to ask you this, right? What are certain questions that people have been hesitant to ask you on air because they're very controversial, but it needs to be spoken about?
I think it's all about first, if I say about menstruation,
Okay.
about sex, pleasure, infidelity, teenage sex, teenage pregnancy. We have been talking a lot off air, but this is true now.
Right.
It should be spoken, to be honest with you.
Yes.
Many a times people do ask me why you wanted to go into a feminine hygiene products, or why you as a man. And that was also 12 years back, 13 years back.
When it was not spoken about even as much as it is right now.
Absolutely. Where I wasn't welcome in any of the women forum where they were talking about menstruation or a period.
Because you were a man.
I was a man, and I was the only guy who was entering into a room full of women. But that changed.
Okay.
That changed, surprisingly changed drastically.
Okay.
But yes, I think these are a few things with people. And sometimes, it's controversial. So, I say, okay, let it be. Let it go, and let the Gen Z change the world, and then I can place myself there.
Right. Let's start with menstruation, right? Why do you think there is so much taboo attached around it, and there is also a lot of shame attached around it, both menstruation and talking about sex? Even I see a lot of my male friends have a very casual conversation about sex and all of that. But when it comes to women, there is still a lot of shame attached to it. Let's start with menstruation. Now we've had movies like The Padman. We've had movies like recently, I think, Mrs. People speak about how the suppression has happened, and they speak about how this has been shamed and women are made to feel disgusted about it. Where do you think this started from?
I think you really can't pinpoint where it started, but I think it's more about the Indian society. But if you take India as a whole, I think South India, they celebrate periods. They celebrate the first, the puberty of a girl child, versus North. I think it's more about the society which we live in, which thinks that it's a disease rather than it's a natural phenomenon, because having periods means a woman is healthy. Nobody knows about that, or nobody talks about that. I think there's no one incident which I can remember, but I think it was more towards, I'll say that, it's vagina, it's bleeding, it's It's something like that. It's impure. They gave the religion angle to it. So I think it's all mix. It was more by women themselves rather than men putting it. I'll say that, and we all know.
Yeah, it's all hush hush.
It's all hush hush.
Yeah.
I think.
So now,
it's over.
when it comes to menstruation, at least when it comes to cities, it is much more better. But when we go to the villages or the tier 2, tier 3 cities, it's quite shocking that girls drop out from schools because they don't have awareness about the menstruation, the sanitary napkins. And second, the parents are very scared to send them to school. So now help us understand, why has it taken so much time for the penetration to happen in villages?
What do you think of the penetration in India is for the menstrual product?
50-60%?
It's less than 40%. When I started in 2017, it was 18%.
Which means they don't have awareness of it.
They have awareness, right? I'll say that 80% have awareness, but majority don't want to use it because they think it's expensive.
Okay.
You'll be surprised that now, out of 100 menstruators, if 40% are using, which is, we as a private party says, government says around 55-60% because they distribute free of cost. The rest 60%, they are using something, right? What are they using? They're using ashes, sawdust, banana leaves, rags, newspapers, because they can't afford a sanitary napkin.
Oh my God.
Around 600 million women and maybe around 300 menstruators, 300 million menstruators. And out of that 300 million menstruators, only 40-45% uses a period care products.
Oh boy.
Movie like Padman, amazing. I'm a huge fan of those. Movie like Toiletic Prem Katha. They have made another 5% come into the bracket of menstrual care. Government distributing free of costs. But again, that's a one-time distribution or two-time distribution. I've seen, because they don't have money in those tier 4 and tier 5. I won't even say tier 3 and tier 2. Tier 4 and 5, deep into the rural area, they will get sanitary pads for, say, 3 cycles, right? But they don't have anything to eat, so they'll go and sell those packet which they got it and get a 10 rupee or a 20 rupees. So it's more of a social, more of affordability, rather than now a taboo in terms of what should I use it, because they can use a cloth. Right, and people are using a cloth, but those are they are not antibacterial. They are not meant to be used. Because what is happening is that if you don't have a good menstrual, we call it MHM, menstrual hygiene management, right? You get RTI, which is a reproductive tract infection, which leads to not having a kid because your uterus get infected.
And how does this happen?
It's because of unhygienic your menstrual care, because you don't take care of your uterus while it's bleeding. So many a times that infection leads to this kind of stuff.
And if you can give us examples of, for example, if somebody uses a sanitary napkin, like how many hours should they use that for?
So sanitary napkins are designed to be used for 4 to 6 hours. You should change a sanitary napkin between 4 to 6 hours. A tampon's almost the same. A menstrual cup, which I'm a huge advocate of it. It's easy. It means, I won't say easy. It's once you adopt it, it's easy. But you can wear it for 10 to 12 hours.
Okay.
You can pee, poop, and swim while wearing a menstrual cup. Right. And it's so one menstrual cup can last for 5 years.
Okay.
And it only costs 350 rupees. Versus a sanitary napkin, the lowest sanitary napkin may cost you, say, 3 or 4 rupees, one sanitary napkin. So if you have a year, which is like 13 to 14 cycles, 140 pads, again, you are using around 800 rupees, 900 rupees for a year.
Okay.
Versus 350 rupees for 5 years.
Wow. So which means the problem in the rural areas can actually be solved using the menstrual cups.
Absolutely. And that's what we have been working with so many NGOs
Okay.
where they are using corporate CSR funds.
Okay.
And we have actually, converted them by telling them not distribute sanitary pads, rather help them educate how to use a menstrual cup. So
Okay.
lot these midwives. So we work along with midwives to teach these menstruator how to use a menstrual cup and adopt a menstrual cups.
Okay, so when it comes to menstrual cups, I remember my experience of using it the first time. First of all, there was a lot of fear. I was extremely scared. I was like, oh, how am I going to use it? Is it going to be comfortable? But then when I started using it, I got to understand how easy it was.
Absolutely.
It is extremely easy because I could go running, swimming, do anything and still not fear that there would be a leak somewhere, right? But still, when I speak to my friends about menstrual cups, they're like, it's disgusting. How do I clean it and all of that? What are the misconceptions around a menstrual cup?
You know, when we were growing up, I'll just give you a backstory here. When we were growing up in, say, early 80s, right? I'm a 73 born. So if my sister wanted to use a tampon at that point of time, they weren't allowed to use it.
Okay.
Because tampon is huge in US. Like 95% of menstruator in US uses tampons. Because in India, we had that, you can't insert anything inside the vagina about the hammer getting break or the virginity issues and certain things. Now, here, the fear is that A is first leak, because if you're not used to using menstrual cup, so you'll always fear that if the suction is not properly, I may leak. But there's a other product which you can use alongside a menstrual cup, which is a panty liner. So which actually absorbs if there's a leakage. I think second is that people are unable to decide which cup is right for them, because there are three sizes. One is vaginal delivery, C-sections, and of course the teen cups. So that's also education. So we as a brand has been given this education top of our voice, always. Thirdly, though we say that it's 8 to 10 hours, 25 ml of blood in one day is max you can ever get it. And that's over the time. But people don't realize, they think that that small cup will not hold the kind of blood.
Okay.
So these are the few couple things which they are fears in the mind of menstruator while they are using cups.
So in the last few years, do you see a lot of women switch to the menstrual cups?
Just to give you a number,
okay,
January 2020, we were selling 2,000 menstrual cups a month.
Okay.
January 2025, around 75,000 cups a month.
Oh, wow. That's like a huge leap.
Yes.
That's a huge leap.
Yes.
Okay, I think once women understand how easy it is, they kind of ditch the sanitary
and nobody
napkins.
goes back. If people started using a cup, if they are cupboarded, so we use the word cupboarded. If they are cupboarded, they won't go back to a pad again or a tampon again.
Right. And so which one is better, a sanitary napkin or the period panties? Which one is better?
See, every product has its own
pros
merits.
And cons. Okay.
I'll say merits, has its own merits. A period panty again comes in two forms. One is the reusable period panty and the disposable period panty. Now, sanitary pads. So if you compare between sanitary pads and period panties, I'll say that period panty, the menstruator will want to use it during night because they have the heavy flow, right? And it can let them sleep well, and you can wear it for 8 hours, right? That's the max you sleep, right? So I think difference between a pad and a period panty is that the comfort of wearing a period panty during menstruation is far better than having a pad during the night.
Okay.
Or while you at work also, you can just wear it and go, because it doesn't feel bulky. Yeah, so we had this a campaign when we launched our disposable period panty. We call it Pad Wali Panty.
Okay.
It really worked well for us.
Okay. So what's the best and the most interesting marketing campaign that you've done, that you remember?
Many. I think there was like Bleed Your Way. So we asked menstruator, hey, you know what? We are no one to tell you buy this. Okay, we have this 5 different men's period care products. You bleed your way. You select what you want to use it. If you have heavy flow, you can go for sanitary napkins, right? If you have on the spotting on the last days of the cycle, you can use a panty liner. If you are going running, jogging, swimming, there's a menstrual cups for you, right? If cups are not comfortable, you can use a tampons. If you are sustainable, flag bearer, then of course you can go for a biodegradable stuff which we have.
Right.
So bleed your way. Own the red.
Okay.
Wherein that's campaign where we told menstruator to embrace the color red,
Okay.
which is goes well with the menstrual blood. So we had this red dot brosh. We asked women menstruator to use it while they were chumming.
Okay.
So we really loved it. But the best campaign was men buy pads.
Okay. Talk to me about it.
So we did this campaign where we show a girl, a father and a daughter in a mall, and it's supposed to be the daughter's 13th birthday. Now the puberty comes very early.
Yeah.
And he was showing her all the type of gifts, and but she showed him the letter 13, the balloon 13. He didn't realize what. I think he was a single parent rather. Then she pick it up a sanitary pads and show to him. So we in Hindi we say that we if I can use the word Hindi.
Yes.
पता ही नहीं चलता बेटी कब बड़ी हो जाती है.
Okay.
So that's where she shows sanitary pads.
Okay.
So it was such a touching clip which we made, and it related with hundreds and thousands of men or fathers who had daughters who never used to talk about menstruation to their daughters. And I think I got so many DMs, and they said, Vikas, thank you so much.
Right.
I know that when I didn't know when my wife was on periods. So I think we have started talking about periods, and I'm talking more about North India, where it's more of a taboo to talk about it. I think this is the best campaign. I love it.
Okay. So you are a man who's been doing this for the last 13 years, right? What is that one message that you are willing to tell other men that they need to know about menstruation and women?
A lot of people think menstruation is a disease. Even the Supreme Court of India said menstruation is not a disease. It's a phenomenon which every woman will pass through. It means she's healthy. So let's talk about it as you talk about headache, or you talk about how was your work today. I think you should go and celebrate period. I think you should go and celebrate menstruation, and be that man who ask your partner or your sister or your daughter what she want during her menstruation or the cycle.
Right.
Pamper her.
Right.
Give that, because at that point of time the menstruator have because they're losing a lot of blood, right? They have mood swings, they have cramps. So I think be that person, be that ally who support. I think that's what is needed from each and every man.
That's so sweet. When did you understand menstruation completely? Not just the physical aspect of it, the emotional and the mental and the social aspect about it. When did you understand it completely?
You laugh, but I grew between two siblings, one elder, one younger. My sisters. My elder sister was so bold. Like when she was 16 years old, she started designing lingerie. And people used to call lingerie at that point of time. So I was exposed to those kind of stuff, but I was never comfortable even talking about menstruation with my sisters while growing up. I think the about menstruation, I think I started talking with my wife even not immediately. After say 5-6 years of my marriage. I got married in '97. So I think it took me time. And when I started this, it just happened because I knew everything, but I didn't know how and whom to talk to.
Okay.
But I think one incidence of Shrina getting sick for UTI, and then learning more about woman anatomy, woman body, how menstruation, how disease works on the UTI side. I think I adopted a lot. And I think, hey, you know what? It's time that you should be talking on top of your voice. And yeah.
So, when that incident happened, when your wife had UTI, there was an idea in your mind saying, okay, why don't we design something for the hygiene, the personal hygiene? From the ideation to implementation, I'm sure you faced a lot of challenges. One, because you're a man. And second is because these things are not spoken about so much. And third one, there is a gap, but is there a market for it? So, how did you tackle all of that?
So I'll correct you here one thing. Because it was more towards hygienic product. It wasn't about menstruation. Because we started with toilet seat sanitizer.
Correct.
So it was not taboo. It's just that the name, people say, you know, who keeps a brand name as PeeSafe? I always, whosoever I met at that point of time, and it actually worked in our favor.
Right.
After so many years.
It just speaks what it does.
Yeah, it's a needed proof name.
Yeah.
Right. But I think not at that point of time. When I got an idea, I was surprised to see that nobody in the world was doing a toilet seat sanitizer spray. So I don't know if you know, but this is the first in the world.
Oh, I didn't know about
It's
that.
I won't say it's an invention. I'll say it's more of a discovery.
Okay.
The way we have introduced.
Okay.
Previously, it was available in West, where you had the dispensers installed in the washroom and written sanitizer, seat sanitizer.
Okay.
Right, where you bring a tissue paper, a dispenser will dispense some liquid, and you wipe the surface and then throw the tissue. But you are touching it. But we introduced in the form of a bottle, a spray, which you spray on the toilet seat, wait for 10 seconds, it evaporates, and it kills the E. coli bacteria, which may cause you E. coli UTI. So I took an example of hand sanitizer, right? And that actually helped me. Okay, hand sanitizer kills bacteria in your hand. This will stop E. coli bacteria from infecting anyone. So I think being an entrepreneur for so many years and always doing something which was crazy, which was nobody was doing it, I think like, okay, let's get into it. And it's a hard, tough journey so far to create a category. But when I formed the company after 3 years, which is the current company, which is Redcliffe Hygiene, you can't make a brand, you can't create a company, or you can't create a business by only one product. Like,
correct.
We are not a Red Bull, right? Red Bull is only one product.
Yes.
It's one of its kind in the world. So the idea was, why not create innovative products for women from puberty to menopause? So the idea was to bring in products what women needs for at least 40 years of their lifespan.
Okay.
So that is how from toilet hygiene, we got into menstrual hygiene and then intimate hygiene. And very recently, 4 years back, sexual wellness, pleasure, and then up to grooming.
Okay.
So this is how we started. But I think every stage we had challenges because to learn. But I think thanks to the team which I have, it's all Gen Zs, yeah,
they're quite vocal about it.
I think the entire Instagram changed the way how menstruation or sexual wellness is looked into India. And if Instagram was not there, I think it would have been very difficult for us to promote it.
Okay. So the maximum spike happened in the last 5 years?
I'll say, so I started in 2017 as a company.
Okay.
The movie Toilet Prem Katha really helped us.
Okay.
We were the partner, hygiene partner for the movie.
Beautiful.
So people were talking about hygiene. Then Padman came in. Another 8-9% penetration increased. Played a very big role in adopting hygiene.
Hygiene, correct.
Right? But more of hand hygiene rather than toilet hygiene. But overall hygiene went up few notches. Maybe it went from 0 to 10, and then when COVID settled, it rested at around say 6 or 7.
Okay.
Right? We all know that we are not sanitizing our hands anymore.
Yes.
But yes, I think there are so many millennials influencers who or a gynecologist, I'll put it, the young gynecologist who started talking about it, spreading the awareness. I think that has helped. So yeah, you are right. 5 years is where is the maximum peak.
The peak happened. Okay. So when it comes to the pleasure, I went through the website. I saw massagers there. Like, what is the taboo around it?
A lot. First of all, a lot of people think it's pornography,
Mm.
right? Which is not. I think a lot of women need pleasure
Mm.
who are not sexually active.
Mm.
Um, the taboo is that, again, like menstruation, something which is related to your vagina, or so it's something related to your again, pleasure related with vagina or something else. But I think the taboo is all created in the mindset.
Mm.
I think more and more people are vocal about it, being in same-sex relationship is something which people have been vocal about, using a toy rather than having a multiple partner.
Mm.
I think it's time that people or the government should make it legal
Mm.
to have sex toys, or rather than a massager or a pleasure device, or as a medical device rather than as a sex toys.
Why do you think it's illegal in India?
It's illegal to import,
Okay.
right? So after narcotics, the second line item in Indian customs you'll see is pornography. Now it's actually a gray area here. Now pornography defines that anything. So on the object side, pornography can be video, digital, or can be a product.
Mm.
So anything which is in the form of a human anatomy
Mm.
can be called a pornography product,
Mm.
or a porn product, something like that. But the massages are in different shapes and sizes. If you look at a massager, they won't look like anything related to a human
Got it.
anatomy. But since it's a massager, it's a thing which gives you sexual pleasure.
Mm.
They say it's a pornography. So to import is illegal
Okay.
if people are manufacturing in India and selling it, because there's no such rule says or law says that you can't resell it in India.
Okay.
It's more of
Importing
import
it.
side.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But now that there is no rule or law, are there companies that actually manufacture in India the sex
There are a
toys?
couple of companies who have started manufacturing in India. Yes.
Okay, but are they big enough for a lot of people to know about it?
So I won't name companies like
Okay.
that, but yeah, there are listed companies. There are very well known companies who
Okay.
are making these products, and these are medical devices. They are completely within the preview of law, and they are doing it. Yes,
Okay.
and many a times doctors, gynecologists recommend women to have to use these kind of toys because they need it for their mental and for their physical well-being.
Okay. So now that a lot of all of these things are only around women, what is it for the men?
We do have for men as well.
Okay.
There are rings, there are suction pumps
Okay.
that helps in masturbation or for stimulation while having sex.
Okay.
So there are toys for men as well
Okay. In India.
in India. Yes.
Okay. That's nice. So now when it comes to the intimate washes, right? So are they the same intimate washes for men and women? Or
No,
are they different?
They are different.
Okay.
So PeeSafe as a brand, we have two different intimate washes for both men and women,
Okay.
and they are all based on the pH balances.
Okay.
Because the pH balance of women are different from the pH balance of a men.
Okay.
So men is above 4.5, and women is like below 4.
Okay.
So the liquid which is there is more of outer washes. It's not about, because vagina is a self cleaning organ, I can say that. You don't need anything to put inside the vagina, but for vulva, or for your pubic hairs or your inner thighs, if you need to clean, it's better that you should use intimate wash which maintains that pH balance.
Okay. Why is it important to maintain that pH balance?
But if the pH balance is not, even lead to infections, yeast infections or urine infections or maybe UTI sometimes. So yeah, so that's the reason to maintain pH balance, especially for those women who goes out, who work a lot, who goes on the gym, who sweat a lot. I think it's all depend upon the how your lifestyle is.
Okay.
So it's more of a lifestyle product rather than any. It's not an RX product for sure, but I think for many years one brand was sold as an RX for many years.
Okay.
But of course it's a lifestyle product. Yeah.
Okay. And for men?
Men, of course, we have this Men Intimate Wash, which has a pH balance of 5 and above. You can use it, outside under your foreskin or in your testicles. So I think it's more of where you sweat a lot, which really help you out.
It's basically to balance the pH.
Absolutely.
Okay, got it, done. So now I saw in one of your interviews that you spoke about how 80% of for men, women buy the men's underwear.
Yes.
I mean, in what context was that spoken?
We introduced our men's intimate wash uh, because I had an habit. Now I don't do that much, but used to talk to my customers once a week.
Okay.
And we got a lot of these feedbacks that we are so happy that we have this all natural Ayurvedic intimate wash. Why can't we have something for our partners?
The women said
The
this.
woman said this.
Okay.
Because we all know that Indian men scratches a lot because of the sweat, because of the condition or the climate we have, right? We definitely don't look after our personal hygiene or intimate hygiene. So that is so when I started, researching it, who will be the decision maker to buy these products. So then I realized that, in Indian household, 80% of underwear are bought by a wife or mothers, right? So they should be the buyers for men's intimate wash as well. And it stands true. 80% of my sales on my website actually happens through women who buys for their partners as well. And
Okay.
we created this product with this kind of inputs.
So when you speak about hygiene, do you also recommend them wearing a specific kind of underwear so that it keeps the air, it keeps the private parts breathy also?
No, absolutely. Satins are more when you are going on a date night or you want to be intimate with someone. You can't wear it for whole day. I think the whole day is plain vanilla cotton underwear. Because because India is a hot climate, you can't wear satins or polyester underwear. So it's very important that you change your underwear, wear it according to the occasion, wear it according to the weather you are in. I think it's very, very important. Yes.
And when it comes to the grooming part of it, there are a lot of trimmers also, which I saw on your website, right? So in the process of the removal of the pubic hair, there's still so much stigma around it. Some people say waxing is better. Some people say trimming is better. What is your take on that?
I'll say it's a personal choice. Absolutely personal choice. Whichever suits you best, you should go. Because we as a brand, and I as a founder of a intimate hygiene brand, I will never say that use this.
Okay.
If you like to trim, there's a trimmer. If you like to wax, we don't have a wax, but yes, of course, waxes are available. But if you want to use a razor, we have a bikini line trimmers, which is one of our largest, highest seller. You can say that a bikini line trimmer. But you just use a razor to trim your bikini line, or use a plain vanilla trimmer. So it's up to you what you want to use it. But yes, people have started cleaning their pubic a lot, which we have seen, and it's good that of course it's a good and bad, but I can't comment on that.
And when we were talking about all the taboo things that is not spoken so much in India, you also spoke about teenage sex, and you also spoke about unsafe sex. Help us understand a little more about where it is headed.
I don't have the right data, but whatever data I have small from different sources, I know that the average first sex in India for girl is now 15 to 16 years. And most of them go for unprotected sex because it happens instantly in a party or on a trip or something like that. That leads to unprotected sex, unwanted pregnancy, which is alarming, which was happening in the West, but has started happening in India as well. I think it's more where people indulge in sex is more of to experience rather than to enjoy that intimate moment. I think that leads to a lot of complication which happens. So it's very important that we as a society, we should have a co-education. We should know what or how a man and or a boy or a girl anatomy works. We should in a family talk about the sex education should happen along before we want to try it ourselves, so that inquisitiveness should not be there when you meet a boy or a girl at alone at a place where nobody is there. But this is alarming, to be honest with you. Uh, Teenage pregnancy is the on rise.
Do you think the consumption of condoms has gone up over the years?
You'll be surprised. It's not gone up as it should be.
Okay.
Of course, we as a brand, we have female condoms as well.
Yes, I wanted to ask you about that.
But
What are female condoms?
a female condom is basically like a condom reverse, a male condom when it's completely blown up. It's a reverse which goes inside a vagina,
Okay.
and it has a ring which stays there on the vulva. A man can penetrate inside a women's vagina, and of course that will that will stop the semen to go inside it.
Okay.
So the men is not wearing anything. A woman can wear it. She can wear it at least 6 to 7 hours before she gets intimate.
Okay.
So I think it's empowering for women. It started way back in 90s in South Africa, wherein the HIV was very high at that point of time. If you remember, 90s was
Yes.
when HIV was very
Yes.
high. And the South African government said how we can reduce those HIV. So they started distributing female condoms, and they were empowering women for safe sex and unwanted pregnancy, because the male partners were not using condoms, and women wanted to use it, and that's they reduced the risk of HIV.
Okay.
So I think that happens across the world if your partner is not wearing it, and if you are wearing it. Even when we went out to different areas, red light areas in India, and was speaking to so many sex workers, and they were so happy to know that something like this exists, and they said we'll be wearing it if my customer doesn't want to wear it, but we want to wear it, and I think that helps them reduce the risk of HIV and other sexually transmitted disease.
So a lot of people in India don't know about the.
Very few. I've been talking to many, on many podcasts that you're not allowed to advertise condoms on social media.
Really?
Yes, you can't run an sponsored ad.
Okay.
Any sexual content, and I don't know why a contraceptive is known as sexual content.
Wow. Okay. And that is why the lack of awareness.
Yeah, because organically you can't show anyone, right? If you remember, I remember in 2020s, the TV advertisement for condoms used to come only after 11 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Because you have kids at home, they can't see it. Things have changed. Things have changed.
But it's crazy to even know. We're such a huge population.
Yeah. And there are so less condom consumption in India.
Can we, have you ever thought of doing any awareness campaigns, awareness marketing, or activities around that to raise the awareness around this?
A lot. We always talk about safe sex. We always take charge, because our sub brand, which is Domina. So Domina started with female condoms. So Domina means to take it's dominance, as well as it's the last three letters of word vagina and condom.
Oh, okay.
So Dom,
Okay.
Ina,
Okay.
and our tagline is take charge. So through Domina, we had done many workshops across India, in school, colleges, and corporates, that why contraceptive is important, why you have to take care of your sexual health, sexual well-being, why it is so important that pregnancy should be avoided at a particular time, at particular age of your time of your life. So all those things we have done, but you'll be surprised when we approach some big schools, even today, even in class 6 and 7, when we go and talk to the admins that we want to talk about menstruation, they said no, only the girls will be allowed to come in the AV room. We won't want to get boys, because they'll start teasing the girls.
I remember the same thing happened when I was in school, but I thought things have changed right now, but it hasn't.
No.
Okay.
They have changed, but have they changed like 80-90%?
No.
Maybe 20-30%. Then said no, we don't want to have it, because then the boys will know what the girls are being taught, something which is not, boys not supposed to know about it. So I think it's all start from home. I think we have to make our upbringing of our kids such a way, and it's all. I think it's blame is on us.
How should parents approach this?
I'm not a parent, so I don't know about it, but I think it's to be a more open discussion.
Mm.
It's like whatever we discuss about buying a car, buying a toy, or buying some going on a holiday. I think that should be discussed openly.
Mm.
Girls and boys are different.
Mm.
We have to respect the good touch, the bad touch. About pregnancy, about anatomy. We have to teach, and I think today's generation, the millennial kid parents, I think they are doing.
Okay.
Maybe we as an ex, because we were the produce of our baby boomers and then
Yeah.
X. I think the millennials somewhat, but Gen Zs are completely different now. I think
It's a good sign.
yeah, it's a good sign. I think we are evolving as a society.
So now the next thing that what I wanted to ask you was, how do you think we should start seeing sex work? Not from the viewpoint of society and societal norms, but also trying to understand that they are humans and they need to get the kind of respect that they deserve as humans. What is your take on that?
The sex workers, you say,
Yeah.
it's more of just make it legal.
Mm.
I think it's the most oldest profession in the world. Many countries have made it legal. By making it legal, you get a lot of protection.
Mm.
You are exposed to medical and health benefits as well. I think if we make this legal, the crime against women in India will definitely go down,
Mm.
because we see many men who rapes, right, because they don't want to go to a sex worker,
Mm.
or they don't want. So I think if that's, so I'm a big believer that prostitution in India, or like other countries, if it's made legal, that will help in reducing crime in the society.
Right. You're speaking about rape, especially about the Nirbhaya, and after that, you started something called the safety cart. What is safety cart?
It was 16th of December. Unfortunate incident of Nirbhaya rape case happened 2012, and I was free at that point of time. I was, after a struggle, my life has come to a good stand. Had time to think, uh, but that incident shook the entire country.
Yeah.
I thought, why can't I do something towards women's safety?
Mm.
So in 45 days time, I made a website, safetycart.com, and we went live for safety products. Started with women's safety, child safety, home, office, school, travel, sports, safety products. I bought it from all over the world and started selling.
Mm.
So I got inspired by Nirbhaya rape case for women's safety products, and then we did a lot of safety training for women, self defense training, all those kind of stuff. I did at Safety Cart.
So, what are the safety products that women can generally carry with them?
Uh, uh, there are a couple of stuff now, since technology is 13 years. Technology has really evolved. But we had pepper spray at that point of time. A whistle. A whistle was like, you can attach it to your purse, and so there is a two-part. If you feel you are in danger, somebody is snatching your purse or somebody is following you, just remove one part, and it will give 100 decibel noise.
Okay.
Right. So you can attract attention towards you.
Okay.
There was like knuckle, which you can wear it while you were alone, and you feel that somebody may attack you. So those are more of self-defense equipments.
Got it.
But majority was pepper sprays and this alarm. And then the wearable devices came in, which can keep you track of yours. But at that point of time, the battery was not that long, so you need to recharge it every day. But now the battery life has gone up to, like, it can stay for 2-3 years.
Oh, okay.
But previously it was like 18 days, 19 days. So
Okay.
so it wasn't success, because you can use it for 3-4 times, and then when you need to charge it again and again, you'll forget it.
Okay.
So those technology was not that good at that point of time.
Okay. So, in your entrepreneurial journey, has there been any time where somebody has given you a message that still stays with you, which has been so profound in your life?
In a good way or a bad way?
Both.
I think good way a lot.
Okay.
Because doing material handling equipments, aerospace and defense, safety, inspired by Nirbhaya rape case, and started Safety Cart in 2013.
Okay.
Yeah, and then of course,
What's it called? Safety car.
Safety Cart,
Okay.
KART.
Okay.
We can talk about it.
Yes.
And then of course, PeeSafe. Random people, because I have a habit of wearing, if I'm traveling in a plane or something like that, I have a habit of wearing a PeeSafe t-shirt.
Okay.
Right? Just because, I want to see how people react if they are a PeeSafe users.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Okay.
And I see so many people, they just smile because, in India, people don't smile at each other. They do even ask, how are you? Unlike in America.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's so strange. But I see people, they smile at me, and I understand that person is a PeeSafe user.
Okay.
Right? So many a time people have come forward and say, thank you, Vikas, for creating PeeSafe, or thank you for that cramp relief roll-on, or thank you for that menstrual cup. Somebody has told me that I'm wearing your product right now.
Okay.
One young girl, 21-year-old, and say, hi, I'm wearing your product right now. I was so happy and felt so honored, and it stayed with me. On a bad, there are very few, but one thing which I always say, and I don't hesitate in talking about it, that 2015, when PeeSafe got developed, but it was under Safety Cart, when I didn't know how to raise funding, to be honest with you. So somebody pushed me to go and meet this particular venture capitalist and said that, because why don't you pitch Safety Cart and try to raise some funding for Safety Cart? PeeSafe was part of it at that point of time, the product, the spray. At that point of time, he said, it's all well and good. You've been businessman rather, for so many years, but I think the one problem which you have, that you will not get funding, is because you don't have pedigree. You are not from the institutions of India. I think it will be very difficult for you to fund.
Okay.
So that remained there with me, because at that point of time, I was employing people from those institutions.
Okay. How did that make you feel?
Pathetic.
Did you question your own capabilities?
No, never.
Okay.
Okay, I asked him, and I regretted this, and I would really want to use this platform to say it again. When he said that you won't get funding from anyone because you're not from these colleges, I said, listen, I may not be from this college. And I regretted this, and I told him sorry. But if we are not there, who will give you jobs? That was very rude of me, but I think nobody can be judged because of their pedigree. I think no one gives you right to judge because if I'm from XYZ institution. Yeah. So never ever say anyone that you won't be get funding or you won't be invited because you're not from that college. You never know who that person and how that person has reached the stage.
So how important is discipline for an entrepreneur?
Oh, discipline is everything.
Okay.
Discipline gives you that muscle memory.
Okay.
Right? If you, attitude versus discipline, I'll say that discipline matters a lot. You can teach people, a lot of stuff, but if they are not disciplined, right, in their way of talking, in the way of doing, or in the way of delivering work, I think it will be very difficult for you. So discipline for me is everything.
What was your definition of success when you started, and what is it right now?
It's always one.
Okay.
That you are the master of your own time. I think that's success for me.
Okay. Elaborate that to me.
When you don't have to really work for someone and you do whatever you want to do as per your own time, it's success. It's true for any professional as well. It's not only about entrepreneur. A professional, if he has done his work and if he has implemented, dedicated, delegated, and executed, he's free on his time.
Mm.
You just don't have to be 100% always on your work. So again, just to add this, if you know your execution, if you know how to execute, which makes you free
Mm.
from being the slave of the work which you do, either as an entrepreneur or as a professional, is a success. Money will come and go. Money is important. Money gives you lifestyle. But I think time is what makes you successful.
Do you think your emphasis on success and time is so much profound because you value in discipline?
Absolutely, yes. I think that's the only way because for me, discipline is everything. And that's why time uh, helps you uh, manage that discipline.
What has discipline taught you?
Honesty,
Mm.
integrity. I think if I have always thought that I will not do anything which is against the law, it's my discipline. That if it takes 9 months for a baby to come out, it have to be 9. You have to follow the rule of the law or rule of the land and the rule of the nature. That's discipline for me.
I remember a friend of mine telling me, if you want to go from point A to point B, there is going to be some amount of time that is going to take for you to go from point A to point B. The only thing what truly determines how happy you are in the process is when you're very patient. If you're desperate about point B, then from the minute you start from point A, your unhappiness starts. But when you're very patient and you trust the process and you say, I am eventually going to get to point B, but what is so important for me right now is the moment I am in at this point of time. When there is a lot of patience in the process, you also enjoy the process while reaching your destination.
Absolutely. That's why they say enjoy the journey rather than destination.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think I absolutely agree with you. Uh, Patience teaches you everything. It, we have seen many a times when we are in a conversation, when we say something to people, they'll only hear to reply you
Mm,
rather than to understand what you are saying.
correct.
That same goes when you are patient. If you are a good listener, you will definitely take a moment to understand what the other person is saying.
Mm,
And then when you reply, it makes sense and it makes conversations much better.
mm,
So I always try, though I won't say that I 100% do this, but I try to wait to people to finish what they're saying, take a pause, and then reply. And I always never ever try to respond when I'm angry.
mm. What happens when you respond when you're angry?
You fight. If you just wait, you see that in the heat of that moment you would have said something nasty. That person would have again replied. But if you just give a moment, maybe if you wanted to say something bad, but that moment, that patience, have stopped you in replying, and that person, if that he was anger for or he was angry for something, he won't reply you again. I think it's more of that give time. So never ever reply. Many a times I have seen that uh, people send me emails or they copy me, they tag me while inter-department things are happening, just to I refrain from replying to it. Maybe I draft that email but I don't send it. And I have this habit of, when I'm writing an email, I don't put the address, because that gives me a second thought.
Ah, okay.
Always, if I'm writing something bad or something nasty, or abusing someone, uh, I think the good practice I have done is, I don't write or I don't address on the two, so that when I'm again typing those letter, it gives me a moment, should I send or not.
Okay.
And I think many a times I refrain from doing it. I delete that.
Mm. What has been your biggest life lesson so far?
It's difficult, but I've seen that people only valued if you are successful and if you are flashy.
Mm.
They really don't value how you have reached here.
Mm.
People value immediate success. People value how's your connections are. People never value if you are honest, if you are humble, or if you have done your work properly. So I think the lesson which I learned is, though people want to interact with you only when they know that they get something out of you, but it's up to you. So I have learned that no, I may not be the part of that crowd, but I want to still remain as what I am.
Mm.
So the learning is, at the end, be what you are.
So, people who resonate with your core values will naturally come to you.
Absolutely. You attract what you are.
Yeah, that's
Your
true.
your attitude attracts, right?
Everything, yes.
Everything. I think this has happened.
Mm.
And with my age, because once you grow, once you become old, you have very fewer friends, and I think that's the best thing which you have. And I think that has happened with me at one point of time. you know I knew everyone and everyone, right? And everyone knew me, but now it's completely, in last 4 5 years I have stopped going to events, stopped networking, just stay where I am, and I'm happy with the process and happy with 4 5 close friends, uh, whom I call friends, because because they are my friends, not because of my net worth, not because of my connection, is because who I am. I think that's very important to keep, and I think it's very important for today's Gen Zs also to realize, uh, you have to keep your friends closer.
Somehow I feel it's kind of difficult for me to make friends in my 30s. How easy or difficult is it to make friends in your 50s?
You can't make friends anymore. You can make associates, acquaintances, but you can't make friends. It will be only friends with benefits.
Mm.
If you know someone, people will come and want to be your friends. If you can help them in something, they will want to be your friends. So it's so difficult. You know, I have three sets of friends. One is from my school, one is from my college, and one when I move to Gurgaon, they are my neighbors. So that four couples, they are my friends for last 15 years. So we are family now. So we have a holiday together. So this is the three sets of friends which I can call the friends. School friends, we are still four of my friends. Their wives, so we are a big family. Then the college friends, because you've done everything with them
Yes.
together, right? Other than then, I have I can call friends, but they're not friends. You just can't see who are those friends where you can go into their home without even calling them, "Hey, I'm coming."
Yeah.
That is a very difficult task to make now in 50s.
Yeah. I mean, gone are those days where friendships were so much more deeper. The conversations had way more meaning to it, and you could just rely on somebody just blindly. Now, because there are so many opportunities and acquaintances, people generally want something out of you if you're acquainted to them.
Absolutely.
How does it make you feel?
I think it's okay till the time you are ready to give it.
Hmm.
Till the time it's they are not intruding into your personal space. Till the time you are not impacting or getting affected by their presence.
Hmm.
I think it's okay.
How has your understanding and relationship with money changed?
I think it remains same.
Okay.
Um, I think it's more because my upbringing was so that, uh, you know, if I say that, uh, while growing up, we knew about debits and credit on the dinner table.
Hmm.
Because if you're born in a business family, your parents talk about aaj paisa aaya, kal paisa nahi aaya, aaj sale hua nahi hua. So we learned about it. We knew about what's the value of this thing. But I think one thing which really helped me, uh, See, I have seen money all my life, but not, I'll say till today, I don't have that kind of money where I can splurge on, traveling first class or a business class, or, staying in the best of the hotels or wear the branded clothes. I'm not a branded guy. But I think it's my wife who has kept me, grounded always.
Okay.
I think she is one lady, though come from very, very wealthy family, but, seen struggling, and we struggled together in the early days. Uh, we believe that if you always see people who's below you, you'll stay humble. And if you start looking at people who's, more richer than you, or have been very, very successful, you'll be only having regret that why I'm not having that kind of life. So I think we have always looked down and see how people are living. And since we didn't had kids, so I think it also made us humble and value money. So I think we were what we were. Whosoever knows me, they know that I am same old Vikas.
So if you just remove everything from you, like you're not the founder, you've not built this and all of that, who's the core of Vikas? What are you there?
Very good question. I think I'm the same old businessman who will get up in the morning, will eat his breakfast, will go to work, will work honestly, try to make ends for his team, come back, do his own thing which he likes, and repeat the same thing again.
And not get bored of it.
I can never get bored of working, to be honest with you.
So when you spoke about your wife, there was so much of love and there was so much of joy and a little bit of pride also. I've heard the statement a few years back where someone said, your spouse can either make you or break you. And I think there's so much truth in that, because if not for my husband, I wouldn't even be doing 10% of what I'm doing in my life right now. It's not even about anything else, but just about that support, that invisible support that I know I always have and I can just fall back on. So I'm willing to move through no matter what. There are so much of emotions that come up, and he tends to balance all of them. So for everybody who's watching this and who's on the verge of finding a partner for them, what would your advice be for them when they find a partner, when they choose a partner? What should they look for?
You know, I'm sure this many a times people must have heard this, but I think if you have a partner, the one thing is that you should respect his or her own happiness. You know what? Between Shrina and me, we are not dependent on each other for our own happiness, but we enjoy things together. So if she likes to watch Hindi movies, or or listen to English Hindi songs, she can do that while in the car with me. I won't object. Or if I'm at home and if I'm listening to a loud English music, it's okay. So you have to respect each other's preferences and then enjoy things together. Make fun of each other. I think that's important, because then your ego will never come in place.
Right.
Right. And the most important thing is that many a times we don't respect each other's respective families. So I think if she has come all the way from her home to your place and she has adopted your family as her own, you should also give that same credit uh, to her family. I think many a times men only think that she has to do things for his family, and when it comes for him, he won't do anything for them. So I think that's very important. I think you're right. It's either she makes you or she breaks you. The same goes with husband. Either he
Yes.
makes you or he breaks you. But always give her time. It takes time to build a relationship. Be honest. I think, and enjoy each other's company, and give space. I think it's space is the most important thing which can keep a partnership stronger.
That's so true. And in so many years of being an entrepreneur, Has there been a day where you felt like, this is not my cup of tea? I just feel like giving up. It's not that you've given up, but you've just felt like, oh my God, this is just too much to take. I just feel like giving up.
Honestly, I'll say there were couple of times I thought about it, but it was only a thought.
Okay.
As soon as I and when these things come, I just go to sleep.
Mm.
And when I get up, I'm fresh.
Mm.
याद ही नहीं रहता कि if I thought of that. Well, I can't. I can't give it up. It had happened so many times. 2002, 2008, 2013, and 16 when PeeSafe. I was about to, not to start Rectif Hygiene, and then 2 years back, but I came back stronger, more than ever before.
I think it's a common trend with every entrepreneur. Some days you feel like this is just too much for me to handle. I'm just going to give up. And the next day they show up and they just start working like nothing ever happened the previous day. I think it's something that we all go through. And because of the process of going through that, it makes us into something so that we can get what we're destined to get.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And over these years, every time you felt low, you felt like things are not working out the way I wanted to work out, where do you draw your inspiration from?
I think it's rather than inspiration, it's the responsibility which I have for so many people who works for me, and their entire livelihood, their entire family depends on me. If I don't turn up, if I don't work, if I don't collect payment money, how will they get their monthly paychecks? I think that only makes me stand out every day, go and work so that I can get means for them.
When you hire people, what do you look for in them?
I never go for people who are successful throughout their life.
Why?
I go for someone who has tasted failure.
Okay.
Because I'm in an industry where it's completely, so we are creating an industry, we are creating a category, we are in a new territory. There will be challenges every day. If somebody who has always been an A grader, who has never seen a failure in his life, and the first time he'll face challenge, I don't know how he's gonna perform himself. And somebody who has seen failure, who has been on the bottom of the curve, he knows how to come up. So I always want to hire people who have been unsuccessful at some point of their time, because they know how to swim back, climb up, come back.
Okay. That's very, very interesting. I've really not heard anybody speak about a hiring process like this. They always speak about, like, look at the attitude, look at the learnability, appetite that they have. But then to think about the aspect of, if they've gone through a lot of failures, for them to really have that resilience to move through if the next time there's a failure. It's a very fresh perspective.
Along with that, of course, attitude. You can't teach attitude to people. You can teach talent. You can teach, academics, but attitude is needed. But for me, is first thing and foremost is how successful or not successful he has been in his life.
How would the world look like 10 years from now if the vision that you have for the world fully sets in and just becomes true? Not just with revenue, but with respect to what you envision for the world. How will the world look like?
So I never had a vision, to be honest with you. I always had a purpose. And I still have a purpose.
Which is?
First of all, to have a world free of UTI. I'm only related with my product I'm talking about. Yeah. But if you take UTI out, I'm not talking about toilet seat sanitizers, how we have 100% penetration for menstrual care in India. That's very important. Even countries like Sri Lanka has 95, 96% penetration, and we have less than 50% penetration. So we want that each and every menstruator in India should be exposed to menstrual care products. So kaise karna, I don't know, but we have to do it together. And I want each and every, whosoever is listening this, I think, start from your home. Ask your security guard, your delivery guy, your maid, your servant, you know, what are their wives using?
Hmm.
Are you helping them? Because this is not happening in cities as well. If you see there's an urban poor, they're not using it. So my vision for next 10 years, I think I talk about the thing which I do. Should have 100% penetration for menstrual care products. This is one. Second, more and more people understand what their sexual wellness is, and they should be talking it very loudly as whatever is, and don't judge. I think people think it's taboo because they are afraid of getting judged or being judged. So let's not judge people. What else? Yeah, I think women's health is something. So I urge big corporates, government, state governments to spend on women's health, because the contribution to GDP towards women towards health is around 3%, and from that 3%, if you take as a whole, I think only 10% is for women's health. So we need more and more money towards women's health to see that how we can be, we can help or we can give them equal benefits.
That's so beautiful. Because, first of all, it's so beautiful to see a man doing this, right? I mean, for me, because I've grown up in an environment where I did not see the discrimination of a man or a woman. For me, it was all the same.
Yes.
Whatever the opportunities a guy had, I've always had. My parents have been like that. But this is still a taboo topic. Sometimes even we as friends in our 30s, there is still a little bit of a stigma talking about this. But you started this 12 years, 13 years back when social media was not such a big thing, and the support also was not as it is right now, and the awareness. Thank you so much for doing this on behalf of all the women and all the men who support their women.
Means a lot.
Thank you so much for doing this. It's truly an honor to have you here and speak about everything that you spoke about right now, because even the people who kind of shy away from having these conversations, even when they start listening to this, now they have hope that it is not taboo. Them menstruating is not their fault, or it is not taboo, but rather it is a part of the natural process. And there is so much more awareness that will start spreading, like how you said, when we start speaking to our maids, our watchmen and their wives, it becomes so much more easier for us to create this movement. Thank you so much for doing this, and thank you so much for being a part of this podcast.
Thanks for giving the opportunity to talk to a wider audience. It's the first time I'm doing it for down south, so I'm happy, and thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.